going on, everybody? Welcome back to SNS Sports. Today we will be recapping the Week 5 game against the Los Angeles Rams. The Cowboys cover the 5.5 with ease. Few key names that stood out to me in this game. I got Anthony Brown, Tony Pollard, and Michael Gallup. What about you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Off the bat, man, Dorrance Armstrong, solid game. D-Law, your boy Mike, of course, and I think Osa, man, he had a big game, man. Definitely was making plays all over the field.
Osa looked phenomenal. I thought he looked great. He looked like a madman out there. He
It
looks
was
like
good,
the DT
man.
we think we need.
Yeah. Like, I was wondering, like, when Bohanna was out, like, who was going to step up, man. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, man, I want to say, man, the whole defensive line looked great, man. I seen just all over the place. I seen Tristan Hill, he get in there. He had some pop in the run game. I think I even seen Carlos Watkins have a couple pressures. I was like, who the hell is 91? Because I haven't seen him like for the first couple games. And
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? I think, man, just everybody in general, man, the whole D line, man, I think as a core group, man, all of them look good, man. Especially Sam Williams. I think, man, every time I see this guy, man, he got some extra juice to him. And I think at this point, man, we kind of need to be discussing some more playing time for sure. I think he's earned it up until this point. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah, defensively, man, we look phenomenal. Special teams look good as well. They hit us with that fake-a-roo thing in their own territory, which was just a really good play call. Had everybody fooled. But that drive, I don't believe, turned to points, which is always a good thing.
You spoke of that the special teams play, and just watching the game, right? I think at that point, honestly, like I knew right then and there. I was like, for you to be deep in your own territory and to call that play right when they did, I said, oh, they desperate. Like, they're desperate for points or anything against this Dan Quinn defense right now. They ran that, and I believe it was like towards the end of the third quarter. Remember they did like the screen pass to Kupp over there in the corner. Then he tried to take it and throw it downfield. I was like, oh, they trying to get points all they can, man.
Oh, that flea flicker bullshit?
Yeah. I said that let you know right then and there. Like, they out here desperate right now.
So. That was right before the half, right? I think.
No, the fake punt was right before the half, but that was like towards the end of the third quarter. Like, they was trying to come up with anything they could at that point. So, yeah.
I don't remember which play it was, but I remember LVE running stride for stride with Henderson out in man coverage, and that was cool to see.
Oh yeah. I think that might have been the play, man.
I think
LVE had a good game too, man. I think all around.
Actually,
man.
I don't remember. I think Donovan might have been in coverage on that flea flicker junk. I might be wrong.
One or two, yeah.
But no,
I have to look back at it. But yeah.
Switching over to the offensive side of the ball, man, that's where my complaints are. We just leave a lot to be desired offensively. And I'm hoping it's because things are dumbed down with Rush in there and that this isn't what we're going to see when Dak gets back. I don't know. We just seem to be leaving something out there. We had 10 first downs in our victory, which is absurd, and average 4.5 per play.
No, I agree, man. One of my main things I pulled away from this, right? Running the ball, man, it looked good. It looked effective right away. You had Zeke. He came in. He was getting tough yards, and then, Tony Pollard was able to come in and do what he do best. I think, like you said, a lot to be desired as far as for me, just converting on third down, man. Obviously we had the crucial drop from Michael Gallup, right? So we was driving on the field, crossing that side of the territory. He makes that crucial drop right there. That kind of ends things. We end up with a field goal there. And then I'm not sure what point it was, but there was another drive where we had things going. We was moving, flowing. And then you had CD on the other side who had the other crucial drop. So when I think about things, I'm like, yes, we should, moving forward, do a better job with these third down conversions. Of course, when Dak get back, hopefully that's something that kind of fixes itself. But I want to talk about Cooper Rush, and, it's a lot of takes out there. Like, yeah, he only had 102 yards. But I do want to talk about that in context, right? I want to talk about more so in the grand scheme of things. I think we should be more focused on the fact that we only had to throw him 16 times to win this ball game, right? That alone, to me, stands out more than the fact that he had 102 yards, right? So when you think about it, yes, he only had 102 yards, but he was 10 for 16 with 2 crucial drops. And if you average that out, that's 12 for 16. And let's say if we had threw another 10 times, who knows what those stats would look like, but we didn't need to. And that's the point I'm making. I think it's something to be said that we was able to stick to the run game. we didn't have to throw. And you know, one of my biggest keys when we talk about takeaways from this game was I'll let you speak on the second one because I know you probably want to touch on that. But the first thing to me that stood out was like towards the end of this game. And everybody in that building, they knew we was going to run the ball. We was going to milk that clock out, and we ran that well. They couldn't stop us. I thought it was big. And the other thing was, you know, obviously when Michael Parsons went out, you know what I mean, Dan Quinn playing a little
Right.
chest there. So, yeah.
Couple notes I remember taking during the game. We abandoned the run after the half, and we couldn't put points on the board. Once we did resume the run game, like you're talking about on the last drive of the game, we were able to march down, kill some clock, and kick a field goal. And I think, too, because I think it was like a 4th and 1 where we could have tried to go for it and seal the game. I thought it was a really, really smart move on McCarthy to kick the field goal there to put the Cowboys up 2 scores.
I'm glad.
I know a lot of fans will scream from the couch to go for it, but I think that was the right decision there. Go up 2 scores. Don't try to force the victory. Let the victory come to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we had all the momentum. It was no. I mean, I know a lot of people say put the game away right there, but then we could have easily lost some yardage on 4th down. They felt some momentum from that, came back down, scored, and then what do you know? It was a 7-19 ball game with the chance they get the ball back and kick a field goal to win it. You know what I mean? I think it was smart to go ahead and make it a 2-possession game. Keep leaning on your defense, and that's all we had to do. So that was dope. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one.
I don't know whose decision it was to pull Micah to only crucial downs following that groin aggravation. Whether that was Dan Quinn, McCarthy, or
that was
whoever else. Smart move. Because I was even sitting there like, just let him sit. Like, we need this man next week for Philly, which I do hope we have. We'll get into that obviously here or later. But it was just a really, really smart design to put him in when needed. Not that we don't need him always, you know what I mean? But it's like battleship football. Like you put him out there. All right, here we come. We're gonna come take your little boat. Boom. You know what I mean?
Chess,
like,
man.
yeah, it's so smart.
And then on those 1st and 2nd downs, like we really not okay. Let's just be honest. When Mike is on the field, obviously, you know what I mean, it's Mike on the field. You're gonna have to account for him. But like the defense was still effective. You know what I mean? Dan Quinn, he played chess. And he know how to put these guys in the best position, man. And just to speak on the defensive side, I know it was a lot of talk about obviously the Diggs play, right? Big play to Atwell, right? The bomb, right away. Two things on that. You know what I mean? First and foremost, I would say Matt Stafford made a great ball. That was a great ball. And then Diggs, he had good coverage on that. It was a good play, hell of a play. But then just kind of looking back at that, I think it was Malik Hooker. He got caught looking in the backfield. He should have been back there. But like no excuses. Like I said, it was a good play. Look, it happens. Now on the second play, when Cooper Kupp, he had the long touchdown. You know, Diggs did give up that play. It was another good throw, but it's not on him as far as the 4 touchdown. It's still up to the defense to make that tackle, right? You know what I mean? I think outside of that, I think Diggs played a good game. That was 2 big plays, but I think one thing he showed to me, which in general is something I want to see and shows me he's improving as a player. He's constantly progressing. It's just him and run support and just making tackles, man. I thought he was physical. Right. I'm like, damn, okay, Diggs, yeah. You see they made some plays. It looked like it was a design for them to throw it to Henderson over there to try to get that one-on-one with Diggs, and he answered the bell. You know, I thought that was dope.
Back to the Atwell play. Excuse me. 100% Trevon got burned. You know how fast Atwell is? Like, he did everything he could in that situation, honestly. Like, the man's just faster.
Almost made a play.
The coverage was good, but what are you going to do with speed? You know what I mean?
Right.
So he tried to keep stride for stride with him, and he couldn't. And like you said, Malik didn't pull his end of duties. The Kupp play, that's just cupping out. You know what I mean? Like, that's to be expected. One of the top 10 players in the league.
I'm glad it happened, though. You probably say, wow, why are you
glad it
happened? Like, I'm glad
I played him in fantasy?
No. I mean, Cooper Kupp going to do Cooper Kupp things. Right. We talked about that coming into the week. I mean, like, outside of that, they pretty much did nothing. But how the timing of everything, like going into this Philly game, right? You got all the fans talk, oh, see Diggs, he finally made a big play. Like, watch him come out here and he gonna have himself a game. You know what I mean? I like the fact that it had now, because if one thing I know about him, he gonna bounce back. You know what I mean? And right. I think after the game, he was like 10 points on me. That's on me. I'm like, accountability. It goes to show you right away. He ready to come back out here and make a statement. So
that's a huge leadership comment as well. Aaron Donald, bro, he took his time and took turns beating the shit out of McGovern and Smith. Like he just picked where he wanted to be and was like, "I'm fucking up your day, hopping
It's a
out there."
different type of dude, man. Yeah.
Aside from the one, the TP play, McGovern had a nasty block on Donald when Tony went off. But outside of that, I didn't see much good against Donald from that left side of our line.
Nah.
And it was kind of a manufactured block on Donald on that run. It wasn't like a
Yeah, he was
spectacular
look. He
play
was
by
struggling.
McGovern.
Like he did
What?
all he could to get in front of it, and you know what I mean. By the grace of God, Tony Powell was able to slide through it, and you know he got just enough of him to make it happen. So, uh,
But
it
on the other
was
side, there's Rams fans right now talking about how Micah Parsons beat the shit out of 5 dudes on that line, whereas we're talking about 2. You know what I mean?
yeah, and he made
So
plays when it mattered most, man.
right.
Uh, it just was kind of irritating. I'm like, yes, like Tyler Smith, he just had a great start to the season by all means, but you don't leave that guy 1-on-1 with Donald. Like, what are we doing?
No,
You know, what I mean?
no.
I'm like, come on, man. Like, but you know, what I mean, they adjusted. You know what I mean? Another adjustment we made was I'm glad like just to see that because I figured teams would try it and to see what would happen. Just coming off of that Rams game, the Washington week before, you see that the Rams tried to get the run going, but boy, did we shut that shit down quick. I'm talking about
Hell
quick.
yeah.
The boy Sam Williams came through and you know what I mean? He be snapping in that run game for sure, man. But now we shut it down
Absolutely.
quick. Stafford, man. He was every time he stepped back, it was pressure. That boy was seeing all type of stuff back there. The boys was on him.
Not to get too distracted here, I think one big difference I've noticed defensively is how physical our DBs play this year compared to years past.
Yeah.
And I think that's a Dan Quinn trait because if you look over to like the Legion of Boom, Richard Sherman, Byron Maxwell, all them boys, they laid wood, and our
Okay.
corners aren't scared to tackle, which is actually why I put Anthony Brown as a standout
Oh
this
yeah.
week.
Anthony Brown come down to hit, man. I like it.
I thought
He
he
come
was
down to hit.
laying wood this week.
All them boys.
And then
Donovan Wilson, every week.
when you get your DBs flying around like that, I want to give it a name. Probably already exists. Tone settling tackling, like that, just kind of sets the tone for the game when your DBs are cracking, especially in the
Facts.
run game. Like that just
Facts.
changes everything. What other key points do you have from the victory?
Just as far as key points, I would say one thing that stood out to me, man, Schultz. Now, it just seems like he has no chemistry with Rush at this point, man. Non-existent to say the least. One thing I would like to see, and we'll get into this moving forward, is man, I just think man he needs to go ahead and rest and get healthy. You know what I mean? It seemed like he's lost a step. It wasn't much to see from him there. I don't know what's going on with the tight ends. I wish that we could go ahead and kind of utilize him a little bit more, but I think he should go ahead and rest up. The last thing I would say is I noticed from this game was, and I was wondering will we pull anything. Now you notice that quick toss that was straight up the middle. I know you kept saying that like 2 or 3 times a week. So that's something they pulled directly from Shanahan. Remember that Jeff Wilson one that he scored on, the big run?
From last week.
Yeah, so you could tell they pulled that straight
Okay.
from Shanahan, and we was able to incorporate that. So you could tell they seen some things. I wish we could have pretty much took advantage of the quick game a little bit more. And I think if Cooper Rush was a little bit more patient, we had some looks that, you know what I mean, they gave us. It was some bait traps, so I can understand why they try to stay away from it. It looked like they was trying to get Cooper Rush baited into some certain looks, and I just think with the run game working the way it was no need. So I'm just glad we was able to come in, be physical, man. Another win. Defense doing what they supposed to, man. It sounds like it's very repetitive at this week, but I mean, every week we talking about this. But hey, look, every week we doing the same thing. We got a nice identity going on, great blueprint. Defense wins championships. Hey, the run game is looking great, man. Hey, look, we get Dak back, man. You already know what's up from here.
I think too. Excuse me. The moving out of this week, I think as long as Rush is in there, we're gonna find out who the real football fans are because we're gonna have to play some boring football offensively in order to win these games. Like we're not gonna be able to be flashy. But the way I guess I describe it, and I wrote it down here, I feel like we're playing lottery ticket football in the sense of we have a phenomenal defense. We're relying on big plays outside of our defense.
Yes, sir.
Like blocked field goals, blocked kicks, blocked punts, turnovers, and these big plays on offense. And we can say that it's not sustainable, but this is what we did last year. So we're looking at 20 games now of a defense and special teams creating opportunities for an offense. So maybe
Mhm.
moving forward, that's just kind of our identity. Play a little
Nah,
boring on offense to win. You know what
let
I
me
mean?
tell you, man. Let me tell you, it's not boring to me. You know what I mean? You don't know how
No, no, no,
long
no, no.
I was just telling my boy that earlier. I'm like, listen, you don't know how long I've waited to have a top defense like this. Like,
Hmm.
boy, look, when that defense come out there, they get me juiced up. You know what I mean? I see
What?
them boys hitting, and every time it's about second and 10, third down to 12, or whatever, bro, I get on the edge of my seat, man. I love it. And it excites me. It's exciting to see a good defense. I'm not bored with it at all. I love seeing it. The run game, I love it all. Of course, like, you know what I mean, everything doesn't look good from an offensive standpoint, but we got time. We will
Right.
improve. You know what I mean? And we all know that guy we're waiting on, no matter what anybody says. When we get that back, and then you go ahead and combine that with what we getting from this defense, man, listen, man, it changes the whole conversation of what we can expect.
Absolutely. And I'm not saying I'm bored of it. I'm saying we're going to find out who the casual fans are because we're playing tough football, not fun football right
I
now.
love it. This is playoff football. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right. Absolutely. Physical. Oof.
Yeah.
But this is the SNS show. You got any final words?
Hey, man, just stay tuned in. We'll be back with another one. Hey, listen, another Cowboys dub, another week, man. Let's go ahead and keep this going, keep this rolling to the next week, man. We appreciate y'all, man. Stay tuned.